With me now is Lluis Dalmau, a Spanish journalist who specializes in European Union issues. And why don't we start there? I mean, 18,000 refugees, but this is a country that's still reeling from huge unemployment numbers. How is this going to play out?
Exactly. If we look at the figures right now, we have 22% of unemployment. That means 4 million people unemployed. And when it comes to youth, it's around 50%. So it's going to be a big issue in Spanish politics in the future. But at the same time, we have around 4,000 refugees, while France, for instance, has 200,000. So from my point of view, if we look at it this way, I think that we should actually get more refugees come to our country because it is a moral obligation for us.
But the Spanish foreign minister, I think it was last month, said, look, you've got to look at these unemployment figures. We're still struggling. And you should look at that as a factor when you're determining this. You know, as you said, it's a humanitarian issue. You've got to do the right thing. But a lot of these countries are struggling with different issues. And while Germany and France may say this is the right thing to do, they may be sitting pretty compared to some of these other countries. How do you figure all of this out, I guess, is the question.
Well, from the EU, they have actually already tried to make the balance between the amount of GDP, the amount of unemployment, and every single. So the unemployment has been a key role in deciding how many refugees are going to go to Spain or to Germany. So if we compare the figures that are going to go to Spain or to Germany, Spain are much lower. So in this point, I think that being a part of the EU, we got to take the consequences of it.
The speeches today, some cheers, some boos. Surprised at that, and of course this call for unity. It doesn't appear that there is unity there.
No, exactly. The Merkel and Francois Hollande did great speeches on wanting to get a deeper European Union, but at the same time, they did not propose any big tool to do it. So there was words and not actually any actions.
We saw recently the crisis in Greece. That's followed by this crisis. How do you feel the EU is handling these crisis after crisis that they have to deal with?
That is an interesting point, Mike, because we have been going through so many crises since 2008, when the global financial crisis, and then the European crisis in 2012, and everything. So I think the EU needs, as Francois Hollande said, deeper integration, and because if not, we're not going to go anywhere. We basically have all the advantages of a federal government, but we have all the disadvantages.
What about protecting borders? You know, we hear from some countries in the EU that that's a big issue with them.
Yeah, because at the end, every single country controls its own borders. We got to understand that the EU is not a military union, so the EU has no rule and influence on each country's borders. So if we go back to Francois Hollande's speech, we need to go deeper into those things that the EU could control as a one.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, that's
exactly.
for sure. We can agree on that. Lluis, thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.